Hello everyone and welcome back to Farmer Joe Homesteading. This week we're going to show you the fun updates we've had setting up electric fencing systems for the goats, baby bunnies getting more adventurous, and an increase in milk for the girls as our new feeding system that we started last week is starting to pay off. So I don't want to show you guys too much in the garden this week because I am planning on getting my video up of building this whole garden and that whole process here soon, but I did want to show you. So our squashes have grown like crazy. We're just about to the flower stage, which I'm really excited about. We've got some broccoli coming and little broccoli heads. The Brussels sprouts are growing, quite a few little Brussels sprouts. We've been eating the lettuce in the garden too, so our lettuces have done really well this week as well. Kale and spinach is finally starting to come after reseeding, and the beans and peas are starting to come along. The snap peas on the end are actually doing much better, so I'm excited to have some snap peas. So all of the beets have finally rooted in good. We've got quite a few onions. The corn still isn't very tall, but it's doing much better. Quite a few of the perennials have really rooted down and are starting to bloom really nicely. We've got some herbs that are coming up. The dill's finally looking way better. And our carrot and potato side is doing good. The radishes that I reseeded are finally coming up really nice. So I'm really excited about how well this is doing. I just wanted to show you guys the bathtub quick because the herb bathtub has been doing really good. The herb tub is growing like crazy. There's quite a bit of stuff. The thyme is coming up really well. This is all oregano in here, and then there's a couple different varieties of basil and cilantro. The parsley's starting to get taller. The sage that I've started in the house is starting to get quite tall, and then of course all these carrots that planted in here on accident are looking really nice and full. Here's a quick look at the greenhouse and how it's doing this week. The mint are still going absolutely nuts, so I'm going to need to start picking them and drying them. There's still quite a few jalapeno flowers, some new peppers starting. These ones are starting to finally flower. Even the marigolds have really started taking off this week. The tomatoes that I started still haven't really got any flowers on them yet, but this one that's already got tomatoes there, it's flowered, and so they are starting to pick up. The celery is going crazy, lots of celery. The cucumbers are flowering on a regular basis, and we've got little cucumbers scattered all over throughout the greenhouse, which is super encouraging. We've got a couple of them there. The cucumbers I started from the house, and I didn't label what variety they were. So I know some of them are pickling and some of them should be, I think, munchers, and some of them are long English. So there's a couple different varieties, and I can usually tell just because there's some like different shaped leaves here. Like that one is different than that one, and that one's a little bit different. So there will be some different varieties of cucumber in here. The sunflower all of a sudden has taken off too, so we've got some good tall sunflowers coming. My favorite announcement of the week. Farmer Joe got her very first pair of overalls. Her grandma and grandpa picked them up for her, and she is getting used to wearing them. I am thankful that it'll save all of her clothes, but I think she likes them. Do they have pockets? Do you got pockets on your overalls? Do you like them? So the roosters have been given their very own pen with the meat turkeys. They're over here in the goose coop. We still do have one broody goose on the nest that should be hatching soon. And everybody is doing really well. There's a lot of boys, so it's nice to have them all separated so that they quit terrorizing all the pullets. Break off pieces, Bobo. Good job.
These are the meat cookies.
So today it was time to fix the problem we're having with the goat fence because they managed to knock the fence down enough that all of the goat herd could get out. So we set up the electric fence system here along this whole stretch, and I'm hoping that that'll do the trick to keep them off the fence and keep the goats in and respecting our fences. Annie got her collar, which makes her officially look like our pet goat. Right, Miss Annie? You look very pretty with your pretty red collar. I'm so glad I picked the red for you. It suits you perfectly. So we're out here in the goat shelter again because they keep wrecking the milk stand. So today we are going to be working on fixing what they wrecked again. This time they popped this whole piece off here in the front, and it's from them pushing and fighting with each other here when we're not in here, and especially the little boys, they play and monkey up here. So we're gonna put some new screws in it that are a little bit longer, and hopefully that will help fight that resistance the boys are giving on this poor milk stand.
So this is Miss Annie, and this is Bo, and this is Mom working on the milk stand. She is looking. So we are fixing the milk stand.
Yep. Fixing the milk stand again. Put the wrong drill bit in.
Can I hold this?
No.
Like
a good old farm kid. Get it?
Yeah.
Hold it down. Is that working better?
I'm gonna do this one.
Oh, wait. Dang.
Mom! Big Mommy's in here!
All right, we got the milk stand back up and running. When I put it back together, I realized I didn't do a very good job. I only had these black screws, which are only 1-inch screws, and they were just into the other 1x4. So I made sure this time to put some of my longer 2-inch screws all the way through, so it's all through all 3 boards on both ends. So it should stay much more sturdy than the last time. And then I made sure to put some good long screws along the bottom as well to keep it very nice and steady. And then I added a few more screws on the backs too, just to make it a little bit more steady because it was shaking a lot. And now it's much more steady with some extra screws in it. So this should be much better. After setting up the electric fence along that whole stretch of fence there to keep the boys in, it worked really, really well. So I ended up deciding to extend it to go all the way out and around. I unplugged the fence so the kids are fine because I really wanted them to clean up the mess. There is a ton of grass over here that was getting really, really tall, and so I figured since the fence was already there, it was easy to just continue the fence through and then around, so they have this entire area now of grass. It was taller than them when I put them in here, and they have eaten it down quite a bit, which is really good. So the only problem is that our water source is right there in the middle of this piece I fenced off. So we have to unplug the fence to get the water for all of the chickens, and then we can plug it back in. So since the roosters were in here and have been moved to the coop down below with the big run, I moved all of our pullets into this coop. But I didn't lock them in because I figured if they were in here and all the other coops were closed, they'd stay out. But they all migrated back. And even though they're not in the coop that I moved them out of, they are in with all of the big girls, which I was nervous about, but it seems to be working for the time being. So they are staying in the main coop with the main flock of layers for now. Some of them have stayed in this coop, mostly the cuckoo marin hens that were already here with the roosters. So some of them are still over here. So once we get back from our holiday, we will come back and get everybody moved, and the pullets will have to be locked into this space until they get that figured out. So in their coop that we had moved them out of, we had moved the turkey. So since the little turkeys are still needing to be on the turkey feed, they needed to be separated in their own coop so that they could get the proper nutrition. So they have been moved to where the pullets were. They are all very upset that they're not allowed outside right now. So they are all in here. One of my Marin's hens has been giving me meat spots and blood and eggs, so I have her in here. It wasn't her, so it's probably her sister. So we're just keeping her separate for that. But in here, the turkeys can get the proper food they need and grow nicely without the pressure of being with bigger chickens that are mean and pick on them. So there is plenty of space in here. It's nice and cool in here because this coop is half cement, so they are thriving in here. They are all still very curious and friendly, which is fantastic since these are our breeders for next year. So I'm much happier now having the turkeys in their own designated spot that's nice and big for them so that they can get what they need to grow nice and strong. Babies are super full of beans and growing so fast. I cannot believe how fast they grow. They'll be 3 weeks old this weekend. So they're starting to get very adventurous. Had an issue with them because of the poor design of this cage that I didn't even think about at the time. But the door to get into their nest is right outside the hole to go down the ramp. So they were just crawling out of the nest and falling down the hole and getting stuck in the bottom. So we put this board up, and that has completely stopped the problem. They do not fall because now they have to run around that way to mom before going down the hole. But as an extra precaution, I did make them a little cardboard box nest in the bottom so that if they do fall, they have somewhere safe to stay out of the elements. But so far, putting up the board has completely stopped that problem, and mom seems a lot more at rest and peace with the whole situation. She was very stressed out with her babies running around and falling out the hole. So we went to a neighbor farm sale and scooped this huge gallon waterer, which has been amazing because she goes through so much water right now with the babies nursing, so it's been way better for her to have this huge water. Mama has been much more full of milk, and I can visually see that her bag is a little fuller every day. Make sure you come back and check us out next week as we will be discussing goat breeds and milking. Our biggest update with the girls is we did give them all some dewormer again. So they have all been dewormed and ready to go for another season. So they all are looking really, really good. I'm really glad we made the decision to go ahead with deworming now. They seem to be filling out a little bit more. They're definitely loving the new feed regimen, doing the alfalfa cubes and the increased grain. So their body condition has just really improved. So I'm really, really happy with how the goat herd has been doing right now. So because the goats have been dewormed, we are not drinking the milk, but we've been giving it to the other animals. So the chickens have been getting to enjoy it, and the dog. So I heard from a neighbor that goat milk is supposed to be really, really good for pumpkins. So we're gonna try that out too. So Simon Boy still has 3 girls sitting on nests and is extremely bored. He has nothing to do with all the girls, so with all his girls gone, so he has just been very irritated and picking fights. So he gets locked out again. And hopefully he's a good daddy when all of the eggs hatch. So the goose flock is also doing really good this week. The babies are getting quite a few feathers. It's crazy how fast they grow. We just had our very last batch of goslings hatch this weekend. I say batch, it was only 2, but we had our last 2 goslings of the season hatch this weekend, which put us at 27 goslings hatched out this spring, which is 27 more than I thought we were gonna have with all the fertility issues and struggles we had earlier in the season. So I am very happy with the 27 goslings that we were able to hatch. Most of them have gone to other families so that they can reap the benefits and have the joy of having geese on the homestead. So, of the 2 goslings that we did have hatch, we did unfortunately have one not make it. That was our only one out of the whole season that was not healthy. We did everything we could, giving lots of vitamins and lots of extra care and attention, but it unfortunately had some neurological issues and was unable to make it. So we do have one happy gosling, which might end up being given to the adult flock because we have that one mama goose that's been on a nest for a while, and I'm not 100% certain that anything is going to come of the babies, unfortunately. So if none of those eggs hatch, then I have this new gosling that I can give to her, which I'm planning on doing tonight because I don't think that her eggs are going to hatch for her, unfortunately. Exciting incubator news. We did hatch out 15 new chicks this last week, and today we have turkeys hatching in the incubator. And that's all we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something new today. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel to see our weekly content and come back to see us next week. See you guys next time.